It's me again, John, and we're here with another Geek and Dorks Reviews. And boy, I didn't expect that I would ever play Gears of War again. But I have to say that this Ultimate Edition that came out for Xbox One, I think it's only been out for a week or two, is definitely worth pulling you back into the Gears of War universe. Just let me say, first off, Halo is one of my favorite franchises, and around the period of Halo 1 and Halo 2, they really developed a cool aesthetic. They had a world that I loved being wrapped up in, but mainly was the controls, just these very fluid controls, great weapons, great sound effects for the weapons, and Gears of War really took on some of those basics, played with them a little bit by including a cover system. Basically, you could take cover up against small, low objects, edges of doorways, and then leap to the other edge. And it just kind of ratcheted things up in terms of artistic design. I mean, just looking at Marcus Phoenix here, there he is. You can see it's almost like an anime take on reality. It's weird because when you watch it in game, you see that they're using realistic skin tones and everything, but then all of a sudden he's just got this big giant beef neck and it kicks out to this big chunky body armor. It is really cool aesthetically. The whole Gears of War universe is very dirty and bloody and visceral, which made it a lot different than the Halo franchise. I mean, yeah, you get a few blood splats in Halo, but it's really it's not too crazy in terms of the content. Gears kind of hit the accelerator and said, hey, let's grab all of those, Mad Max fans and people that love just this gritty, dirty type of world and put them in this combat situation in there. Also, the sound on this game is astounding. If my wife happened to be playing it on her own, and I was hearing just little pieces of it while I was working in the office. And if you're listening to it like that, it sounds like a big blockbuster action movie, but like the climax scene for that movie, and it's just going on and on and on and on forever. And it kind of feels like that too. The firefights in this are very intense. The types of enemies that you go up against, they're big, ugly monsters. The Lancer, this gun that he's holding here, has a chainsaw bayonet, which was a really cool addition. And what strikes me about this version in particular is this is a game that originally came out in 2006, I believe, for the Xbox. And pretty much all they did was a major tune-up on the graphics. I think they added a few chapters that were released on the PC version that weren't on Xbox, so those are included here. And then there was one little scene I believe they added at the end showing the Locust Queen that wasn't in the original Gears. But other than that, it is largely the same game. It feels the same when you control it, although I have to say the frame rate is a lot better on this version, so it looks smoother, and that makes you feel like the controls are actually a bit more responsive than on a slower, choppier frame rate. It was just a wonderful experience to dive back into, and I swear this is the type of game that you just want to pause and take a look at the screen and kind of take in everything that's on the screen. It's weird to say it's beautiful, but it is gritty and dirty and bloody and beautiful all at the same time. I can't recommend it high enough. Also, I was really surprised to see how well the matchmaking system works. My wife and I like to play campaigns together, although we play on separate Xboxes. And the matchmaking for Halo, the Master Chief Collection, has always been spotty and problematic, and even when it works right, it is just you have to press way too many buttons to do what you're trying to do. You go into one screen and you say, I want to create a party, I want to invite this person. Then you have to, in your roster, you have to actually start saying, I want to invite this person. Then it goes to the party screen where you say, invite this person. You do the same thing 2 or 3 times to get a match going in here. Somehow, Microsoft Studios figured out for Gears of War had to streamline that, and it is super, super simple. Very easy to get matchmaking going. It never failed, never had any hang-ups. I played through the whole thing with her this weekend, and it made for a great experience, particularly if you like to play campaign mode with someone. This game, when you play it on your own, is quite a bit tougher, because that's one thing where it shows its age a little bit. The AI of your buddies is not very good, and with how big and chunky the bodies are, you get into some tight spots and your buddies will literally stop you from being able to take cover or stop you from being able to go through a doorway, and they can really screw you in some situations. What's great about playing with a live person as one of your partners is usually, even if you do get separated, you will be with one AI, they will be with another AI, so you never have a cluster of AIs that's really around you giving you all that much trouble. It really works quite a bit better in two-player, at least from my experience. But it was a blast, seriously. I remember when I first was introduced into the Gears of War universe back in 2006, it used to stress me out. It was kind of a game that I liked to play, but it was so stressful. I could only do it in short bursts. I got to the end, but I never wanted to go back. I never wanted to touch it again. I did when there was sequels. I always did the same thing. It was like, okay, I'm going to do this again, but it would always stress me out. I gotta say, by Gears 3, something changed, and it just wasn't as stressful. I think maybe because the battle system worked a little smoother. It was easier for Marcus to jump around and find cover. Maybe they tuned things down a bit on the enemy front. I'm not sure, but Gears 3, I really don't recall having the same issue as Gears 1 and Gears 2, where it would really, really stress me out. This time playing through it, it didn't stress me out that bad. There was a couple of points where it got really tough and you had to retry the same sequence over and over and over to try to figure out a way through it, but it wasn't really all that stressful. Not like I remember when I first played it. So I don't know, maybe I've played enough games that have kind of toughened me up to that, but I really feel like because it works so much smoother, because I was playing with a live person as one of my partners, we were able to kind of get through those tough spots relatively easy and enjoy this ride. And it really does, it feels like a ride. There's sections of it where you literally feel like you're on some kind of wicked Disneyland mind-twisted ride of some kind. I gotta say, even in terms of modern gaming, this thing just feels great, looks great. I rate it very highly. I give it a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I had a great time going back to Gears of War 1, and I never thought that would happen. And it's a fine example of what can be done with an older game property to bring it into modern consoles and give you enough value. This thing only costs $40, so it's about $20 less than a brand new game. But I can tell you, if you've never played Gears of War 1, you should run out and buy this sucker, and I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy the heck out of it, particularly if you like first-person shooters, particularly if you're a fan of Halo and maybe you're looking for something a little more gritty. Also worth knowing, if you get this, we're in September now, if you buy this version of Gears of War and play online on Xbox One, it will give you the ability to download Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3, the Xbox 360 versions, but you'll be able to play those on your Xbox One. All you have to do is buy this version, play it on Xbox Live before, I believe it's December 31st, basically before the end of this year. And essentially for $40, you're going to get the whole current Gears of War collection and be ready for the upcoming Gears of War 4, which now I am more excited than ever to play after going through this treat. I really just did not expect to love it as much as I did the second time through. It was a blast. Thank you so much for joining me on this Geek and Dorks review. I hope that if you're an Xbox One owner and a fan of Gears, you will go back, or particularly if you don't know it, man, you're in the sweet spot. I think you're going to have a great time with it. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.